Well, well. And here we are, Vision Movement, episode 10. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but this is my very first milestone. Uh very first venture in podcasting anything really in my life. Welcome if you're just joining us. My name is Delori Gomes, and this is the Vision Inside, where the only way out is the way in. And welcome to the Vision Movement, right? To everyone else who um, has walked the journey with me since episode 1. Welcome back. And you know what, you guys, like we just getting started. For real, we are just getting started. For as many more days as my heart beats, and for as many more days as there is breath in my lungs, we are going to keep moving. We will do our best to continue to encourage people and just talk about really practical things in our life that sometimes I don't realize that have crippled me for so long. I was listening to something earlier, and it is just talking about being good. And one of the biggest lies that through the process, of inventory and taking a look at self and practicing some new things, right? Finding that the different spaghetti noodle that just sticks to the wall is unlearning. Yeah, and unlearning a lie, you guys, is not some overnight trip. Yeah, like I've spent decades decades of my life literally believing that I'm not good enough, believing that the only place I belong on this earth is under your shoe. And it wasn't um it wasn't particularly because someone had said that to me in my home. I do believe that some of that came from the lack of mentorship growing up, and again, if you're a lot like me, like I don't think anyone's parents are ever perfect. Um, my parents were definitely busy trying to make ends meet, and I have come to terms with that today. My mom absolutely did the best that she could with what she had. And let me tell you what, you guys, again, my mom, we didn't have much growing up. Yeah, my dad was always out trying to make ends meet, and my mom was home taking care of us. And I grew up with I grew up with a lot of expectations where I don't know if friends down the road or other people who were going to school like had had homes and lives that I had envied. Yeah, envied. Oh, that's such a contaminating and corrosive word, right? To want something that someone else has, and then here's the ugly part: not willing to do the work to get what they have. And so I I sit in this place of gossip and anger and contempt and contention, contemptuous, I think is the word. And excuse me if that was the wrong word, right? The millions of people who are going to come across that little blip in the podcast are going to just absolutely criticize the bejesus out of it, and that's okay too. Um, uh, so I sit in that place of judgment, and deep down, that feeling of inadequacy uh, breeds that core belief. Yeah, the self fulfilling prophecy that I'm just not good enough. And like how in the world do we unbelieve that lie? Right? I cannot humanly or physically or mentally, spiritually, emotionally unbelieve that on my own. Right? Like I cannot just sit here one night and drink a cup of coffee and be like, poof, be gone. I don't believe that anymore. I don't know about you guys, but it just doesn't work for me that way. Um, I need, right? I need to have people in my life. I need to know that there is something else that I can rely on. And And that's part of that word confidence. Yeah, the complete trust in someone or something else to help me achieve a goal. Right? I cannot have complete confidence in myself. That's called pride. It's selfishness and self-centeredness. I cannot do that by myself, because then I'll take ownership. Yeah, I'll take ownership of my own life and say that I did that. And I don't know about you guys either, but I don't do anything of myself. What I do of myself is I mess up my life. And I believe kind of early on in the vision inside, I talked really briefly about the life that I came from, and how I haven't just been given a second chance, you guys. Like, I've been given a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance to be here, to make something of my life, to live a life of purpose, and to really sit here and try and give away some of the amazing things that have been gifted to me. And it's not all, material or physical stuff, right? It is a life experience that is really, really centered in the deep need and the wanting to change. Uh, as I tell you what, man, that life, I thought I was destined to that life. And I really thought that I was destined to sit in that place of I'm not good enough. And the only place that I belong is under your shoe. Here's a new word I heard a couple days ago: to unalive myself. Like, I was, that's kind of gross to even try and swallow. I do remember that a couple years ago, I was sitting in a group of friends, and we were talking about the problem. Yeah, we were talking about the problem, which is always me, right? I don't know how you guys decipher that or what the common denominator is for you, but the problem is always me, for me. And the problem, where I was a few years ago, the problem was that I was still breathing. And really sit with that for a second. Yeah, the problem is that I am still breathing. And I would curse the power of the universe, right? I would curse the creative intelligence. I would curse God. I mean, like, why? 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 In just absolute disgust. And so it came to a point where I came to a point where, yet again, right, the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown had outweighed my current reality, and I wanted something different. I didn't know what I wanted, but I was willing to do anything, and I wanted something different. So after, sitting in those three A's, right? The acknowledgement uh that m- my life through my eyes was pretty crappy, and acknowledging that that is truth, right? The revelation, and to really accept and sit in my own reality that I had created, right? I had created the reality. Um, I stopped being grateful for what I had, and who would have thought? Yeah, if I'm not grateful for the things that I have, they become the things that I had, and slowly but surely, uh, people and places and things weren't walking away from me. I was walking away from them. Yeah, because there was this deep belief, right? And it's a delusion, um, and that word delude. Yeah, I lie to myself and I believe my own lies. Uh, I really believe that I just needed to be alone. That I'm better off by myself. And I'm not sure if any of you have tried this before, but uh, actually being by yourself. And I think that if I'm just left alone, it's better that way. And then when I finally am left alone, I it's not what I wanted. So I find myself back in this place, like, I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. I don't know who my friends are. And I come to this place, right? And it's a crossroad, right? Like, I stand at this point in my life, and it's either I'm gonna pivot to the right or I'm gonna pivot to the left. And who's gonna go, right? Because yet again, I cannot do this. I just cannot do life by myself. I wasn't created to walk this life by myself. I was meant to have friends in my life. I was meant to share a life with a husband and a family, and so are you. Yeah, let me just remind you, or maybe not remind you, but bring something to your attention. Right? Let me shine some light on that dark area of your life. So are you. You are meant to have purpose and drive in this life. You were meant for uh, giving some of what you have away too. You were meant for that. You were meant to live a life with a nourishing and loving home. You were meant for that. And if anyone's ever told you different, run, run, quick. So, unbelieving that lie, right, and growing up with that self fulfilling prophecy over decades, right, and over decades, uh, the the belief morphs, right, like I manipulate it and I hone my craft and I use it for my benefit. It's like the coconut wireless, where I receive a phone call, I receive information, and by the time it gets to the seventh person down the line, the information is totally different. It's the same thing. Decades of my life go by, and um, coming from a home where there was lack, and it wasn't no cultivating, nourishing home, right? There was no nurture and care. There wasn't any of that. And it's not my parents' fault. It's probably how they were raised, and so it's not like they had the manual on parenting either, on how to cultivate and nurture a safe space, and that just wasn't a thing. Um, and so I don't get to, right? I don't get to blame them for that anymore, because I know I'm not alone. I used to blame them for that too, and along with the blame came anger, and came envy, and came resentment, right? Resentment for not having the perfect parents, and what we don't who knows what is a perfect parent. Anyway, I don't want to segue too far away from the segue. And growing up with that belief for decades of my life, and finally coming to a place of wanting something different, because everything that I had tried had failed. Right? I had tried to manipulate other people to do what I want you to do, because if you did what I wanted you to do, then I would be happy, right? So how you feel is irrelevant, right? I'm totally capable, completely capable of compassion, love, empathy, and forgiveness. It just doesn't include you. Hmm. Yeah, and I used to live that way for a really, really long time. I am capable of all of those feelings and emotions. It just doesn't include you. So by dictionary definition, that makes me a narcissist. Ugh, ugh. For a minute, like that word, especially on social media, was being tossed around quite a bit, and it was just really, really gross to even talk about. Um, but after sitting long enough with myself, and looking at those really, really ugly parts of me, um, and again, ultimately wanting change, I took that leap of faith yet again. Took the leap of faith, and I started asking for help. Like, how do I unbelieve? How do I unbelieve the lie? And to be quite honest, like, I didn't know what the lie was at first. I just knew that there were behaviors that had manifested from that, and ultimately at the end of the day, the most dominant behavior was that I just wanted to be alone. I would make um I would make more work for myself, so I would stay later at work, or I would just bring work home. Yeah, I would bring work home, and I would sit out here, and I would work late, and I would dismiss myself from everything that had to do with home life. And I did that for quite a long time. And what I was, I was resentful, and angry because I felt robbed. Yeah, I felt cheated, from the years of my life that, I, I was raising up my young children, and they're still young, but I was raising them up, and there was some spite inside of me. And I know I'm not the only mother to feel that way, right? Like I'm doing this all by myself, full-time mom with a full-time job with a full-time life, and I'm always outnumbered, and I'm always running on empty, and I'm always hangry, and I'm always tired, and I'm always this and this and this, and I'm just complaining and complaining and complaining. And one day somebody told me, she says, a full blown God squad, right? She told me, she goes, you know what, D, blame without me is a whole lot of blah, blah, blah. And that absolutely rocked my world. Rocked my world. That I am the common denominator, right? If my life isn't boring, I'm boring. My home life isn't lacking. I am lacking giving the attention in my home where it's needed the most, right? And so those are some of the stark raving, like just dumb slap to the face, kind of truth and reality about where I really was. And this was just a few short years ago, right? Maybe 5.5 years ago. Um, we had come to this place of, I had come to this place of just being absolutely sick and tired of being sick and tired of being angry all the time, all the time. So she brings that nugget to the table, right? Like blame without me is a whole lot of blah blah blah, and I just didn't know that I couldn't see. Yet again, I didn't know that I couldn't see, and I was trying to fix my broken life with my broken mind, and my broken thoughts, and my broken emotions, and my broken beliefs. I was trying to fix something with something that was broken. And it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. For me, it doesn't. Um, I choose to stop forcing my will on the people in my life, and I stopped choosing to manipulate, areas of my work, and yeah, it was just such a dark and lonely place to be. So I decided, a few of us decided that we're gonna start this journey of unbelieving that lie of I'm not good enough. And some of it came with, pen to paper, and a lot of it was just asking myself questions, right? Like sometimes, people say, it's like, oh, why you got to question everything, and it's disrespectful to ask questions, and why you got to say why. Well, I mean, let me tell you what, Vision Movement, in my case, and a lot of the God Squad cases as well, sitting here and asking myself why is absolutely clutch. It is paramount. It is necessary. It is the key to the door that opens the door to another door. And I sit here and I'm like, oh, why? Why why do I feel this way? Or why am I acting so angry? And and again, like, we've talked about it, right? We've talked about it in a previous episode that anger is the mask for fear. And that is just very true in my life. If I am angry, I'm afraid of something. And what am I afraid of? Right? What am I afraid of? I'm afraid that you're going to see me. Well, what is it about me that you're going to see? Or you're going to see that there's a lack inside of me. There's a feeling of inadequacy inside of me, that I'm a shitty parent, that I'm a horrible wife, that I'm a dismissive and distant boss. You're going to see all of that inside of me. And then you won't like me anymore. And then all of that information is going to be used against me, therefore leaving me in a position of feeling like I'm not enough. And you know, feelings, you guys, feelings aren't facts. At least where I sit tonight, feelings are not facts. They are indicators that I'm still alive. They are indicators that probably I should probably look at something, right? That why am I angry? And maybe this is a spoiler alert for some people, but I really believe that there are only two feelings in this world. One is love and one is fear. And if I'm not in love, then I am definitely in fear, right? And pretty absolute, yeah, definitely two absolute words. Uh, the cool thing about love and fear is that it takes on many forms, right? It is not just one absolute form. It manifests itself in so many different ways in my life. So this journey about unbelieving the lie about I'm not good enough, and it started with something super practical for me, and it might be like a mind blown kind of thing for you, and also because I suffer from huge entitlement issues too, right? I just admitted that uh, to a microphone, not knowing who's listening to this. I have really gnarly pride issues and entitlement. So for a minute now, right? It's been a part of my spiritual practice that I wake up and I pray that serenity prayer. Sometimes laying down, sometimes I get on my knees and I don't get on my knees to get God's attention. I get on my knees and pray to get my attention, to remember where I am in this world. And without prayer, I would still be where I was 5.5 years ago. I would still be there, guaranteed. And so I get up and I pray the serenity prayer, and I hit the bathroom and I brush my teeth, and here's the first thing that I do that is contrary to that belief, and I still do it today. And I look in the mirror and I say, I love you, chick. Just like that. And and then there's more to my spiritual practice, which we I can dive into maybe in a different cast on another night. But just that little contrary action to the decades of belief that I'm not good enough. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and told yourself I love you? Took me a minute, you guys. It took me a minute um to look myself in the eye. There were many days where uh, I would say it on the way out the door. Yeah, out the door of the bathroom. It's like, hey, love you, bye. Just do. And I don't know at which point. I cannot tell you on which day my spirit shifted. There was a shift in my consciousness where something was being mended within me, and I there's something about faith too, right? Like I just show up. I show up and I do the action, and the outcome, right? The results is part of jumping off that log and not being able to see what's around the corner. And I showed up and I did it anyway, even though it felt uncomfortable, even though I thought it was cheesy, even though I thought, oh my God, this is just stupid. It's just never gonna work. Let alone who does this? I do. I do. I do it. Um, I tell you what, again, sitting with myself and taking a look at how the people in my life have been affected, because they are affected. you guys, like they are, especially our children. They watch, they observe, they are watching everything that we do, uh, and how that the dismissive and the angry mom, um, and just the manipulating and the craftiness, the behaviors really affected other people. And talk about emotional damage. Yeah, emotional damage definitely happened in my home. And I'm really grateful for the third chance and the fourth chance and the fifth chance. Yeah, to come back and try again. And that's huge. You know what 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 defines me is not the failure. What defines me is learning from the failure and then doing something different the next time, so I don't trip and fall on my face again. Because I'll tell you what, right? Like, again, it didn't change overnight. Months and months and months, days and days and days of not believing that, oh, this is monotonous. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta do that again. Like, doing it with confidence because I wasn't doing it by myself. There were other women in the God Squad who were doing it too. And I'll tell you what, you guys, like, you want to learn something about somebody, go hang out with their friends. Yeah, like, you and I can sit and we can talk story, but if I really want to learn something about you, if you really want to learn something about me, go hang out with my friends. Because I tell you what, uh, it's a trip today that I even have them. I have been given so many chances to be here, and just for today, yeah, just for today, I choose not to squander my time on this earth, and I choose to sit here and give away just little nuggies, yeah, like little practical actions that you can start taking if you too, if you're saying to yourself, like, I, I can't, I've wasted so much of my life, and I'm just not good enough. And to finish unpacking that, right, and asking myself that question, well, why don't I feel good enough? Well, because I can't do this and I can't do that, and we fill in the blank of the things that I cannot do. Well, why can't I do those things? Well, because no one taught me how to do those things, and now I look stupid trying to do it. And really taking that all the way back, and don't be surprised if you get taken all the way back to small kid time, 4, 5, 6 years old, and you find yourself back in your home, being raised how you were being raised. And I hate to break it to you, but um, a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times when I am offended, like, how dare you? Why you coming at me, bro? When I'm offended, the person you're talking to is not the adult, right? Like, the person you're talking to is the 5-year-old little girl, the wounded one. That's who you're talking to, right? You're talking to the 17-year-old young adult who just lost her best friend to suicide, right? When you bring drama and trauma and secrets to my table, sometimes that's who you're talking to still, because there are areas of my life that just haven't been healed completely. Uh, so the process, yeah, a series of actions or steps, the process of unbecoming, the process of unbelieving, the process of letting go of the lie comes with action. And let me just sit here and remind you one more time, and I remind myself one more time, that gratitude is the outcome of consistent right action. So, wow, a fringe benefit, extra rewards, bonus points that if I sit and I do contrary action, small kind, right? Nothing big, like we take baby steps. If I do consistent right action and I do my best every day to look in the mirror and say I love you, or or at best, right? Like come on you guys, make it tangible, make it practical for you. Like at least like flashing yourself the shaka. It's like right on. See you later. Hey, you have a good day. Like just something practical that you can do and you're willing to do. So I take consistent right action, and the bonus to that is gratitude. Wow. It is the long lasting feeling of joy and happiness. Huh. I think it's worth a shot. I think it is worth a go. Yeah, and not just for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Like go ahead and practice that for a good month. And shoot, if you're doing it at night, you're doing the two a day. Wow. Please do. Please do. I it wasn't it wasn't a easy lie to unlearn, right? There were other actions that were taken as well. And and you know what? Yeah, we'll talk, maybe we can talk about that on the next episode. But for now, uh I wanted to say aloha and really hit home on that milestone. This is a great first milestone for me. Episode 10 is the very first benchmark for myself and the cast and the God Squad who has been privy to the preview um, of what is to come. And I'm really grateful that if you've decided to sit yet again, you've decided to sit and give yourself some time, give yourself a little bit of grace to realize that the only way out is the way in. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Delari Gomes, and you've listened to The Vision Inside.